Yeah. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. I hope you can see that I worked overtime to finally get this audio thing figured out. I mean, it was all right, but now it sounds like the on-demand videos, right? So crystal clear, and I'm excited about that. I also got this, it'll take. Then we'll do the roll call. Then I'm going to do the read. So the take off top is we have Kyler Murray and you don't. If you don't have Kyler Murray in this game and you're an Oklahoma fan, we don't win this game. There's no way that you win this game if Kyler Murray is not the quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners because the defense is so bad. And I'll get to that in a minute, but just think about Kyler for a second here, all right? Yes, he put the ball on the ground again, right? He threw one in the air that he shouldn't have thrown in the air. It got picked off again, right? 2 turnovers, but you'd still rather have Kyler Murray than any other quarterback in college football, and that's speaking volumes, especially when you absolutely have to have the offense come through. At the end of the game, you are up by 3. You know if you give this ball back to West Virginia, they're going to score because that's the way the night has gone, and I'll get into it. But Kyler Murray, on a play you have to have, scrambles around, pushes dudes around, directs traffic, finds CeeDee Lamb sliding for what, for me, is the play of the game. Okay? They don't make that play. I'm sure West Virginia goes down there. They get 6. They win this game. And then you need a first down to assure that you don't have to give the ball back. And what does Kyler Murray do but say, I will do it myself. I will take off running. I will get the first down. And I will slide inbounds to be sure that we go victory formation and we get the W. We have Kyler Murray and you don't. Awesome. So let's do the roll call while we're in here. Nathan, I appreciate you. We'll get into that a little bit. Doing a little different with super chats from now on, and I'll explain that later. Brother Lynch, what's good? Bob Satterfield's in here, 702 Okie, Raw Material, JW19, Corey Mitchell, Mike McCoy, John Doyle, Stephen Gordon, 702 Okie, Corey Mitchell, Alondra Topete, all right, Boomer My Sooner, Dak, Daz, Stephen Gordon, what's good, fam? JW's in here, Corey Mitchell's in here, Raw Material, let's see you. Alondra, what's good? William, I see you. Don, Raw. You guys been in here chatting a while. I like it. Rachel Herrera's in here. What else we got in here? Steven, I see you. Dominic's in here. Nathan's in here. Robert Lane, what's up, fam? Lloyd's in here. Ryan, I see you. Garrett, what's good? Truitt, I see you. Stevie, what's good? Sooner Bear's in here. Swoosh, I see you. Clinton, what's good? Clint, what's good? Shane, what's good? Brandon, Dominic, Hero. If you got a really bad name or like it's impronounceable or unpronounceable, I'm not gonna say it. I'll change it. Matthew Bingham, what's good? Dustin, what's good? Dan Moore, what's good? Bob, yep, I see you, Bob. Dustin, Corey. All right, I'm gonna get to the super chats in a section, but first, I need to tell you this post-game live show is presented by TheFanStop.com. They presented the preview show. They're going to present next week's show and lead into the Big 12 title game, and we'll talk about that. But let's tell you what this is about. I'm excited about this. It's cool to be sponsored by anybody, especially folks that want to invest in the channel like these guys do, and they're really big fans of this, of the team, of Oklahoma, and of the channel. So with Christmas just around the corner, why don't you eliminate the dreaded I don't know what they like question for that special someone? Sign up for the OU Sooners T-Shirt of the Month Club and start receiving a new and unique design delivered right to your front door. With free shipping and both standard and premium packages, you are sure to be a hit with the gift that keeps on giving from thefanstop.com. Use the promo code RJYoung, all caps, no periods, no spaces, to receive 10% off your order. That's thefanstop.com. Use the promo code RJ Young. Be sure to use that. So I'm going to get to these super chats right quick. Then we'll talk a little bit. Marcus Jones with $2 super chat. I appreciate you, fam. Robert Lane says, D deserves some credit to TDs. Yes, they do. But they don't. And I'll get to that. What's up with the third down defense? Linebackers covering wide receivers, which has been par for the course all along. Let's keep it 100 there. Brandon Watt. We won. That's all that matters at this point. Okay, Brandon. I hear where you're coming from, though. and Nathan Mangrum, the corners played well tonight for the most part. I mean, all right, so let's unpack those things, okay? Most folks want to just move on with the defense. They want to be like, yeah, it's our defense. And for what it is, it actually played really well tonight. And I understand that because in the midst of giving up 704 yards of offense, you got 2 forced fumbles and you got 2 defensive touchdowns, right? Yeah. And you got 5 stops. Pig Sports Show says horns down. Cool. So I get where you're coming from. You know, Curtis Bolton's Johnny on the spot. Caleb Kelly, who I saw tackle air, who I saw fill a gap that wasn't there, who I saw out of position, and who I saw chasing down wide receivers looking flat out lost, which, you know, is a criticism for everybody, also had a strip, a sack, a fumble, a recovery, and a touchdown on the same play. Proving that we don't really know what Caleb Kelly is at all. And it's this late in the game. And it's frustrating to know that about him and about this defense. Same thing can be said about Curtis Bolton being Johnny on the spot for that fumble return. But think about what led up to that, right? Because that was a touchdown. If the Big 12 refs don't go full Big 12 refs, 2 cases for Oklahoma. One was a clear targeting penalty, right? At Robert Barnes that they just non-called and didn't review. And the other was the wide receiver blocking Trey Brown out of bounds and into the bench, right? If they don't throw a flag there, that's a touchdown. I mean, he might not have got there all the way on that run, but they were going to stick it in. You know this, right? So that's a 14-point swing because then you get the PI call, right, against Oklahoma. And while you're upset about that, if you don't get the PI call, the next play doesn't happen. You don't get the fumble. You don't get the return for a touchdown. So it's a series of events that ended up being fortunate for Oklahoma, right? Steven Cancer-free, the game is second now. Yeah, man. He's been 2 months on this. I hear you, William. Like, we've been celebrating this for months. Like a month. Not months. A month. And I understand the game feeling secondary to a lot of folks, but I'm going to include Steven here, who was tweeting at me all game. It ain't second. It's second in his mind, but it ain't second in his mind. You get what I'm saying? Right? Because as soon as Robert Barnes went down, Steven hit me up, was like, yo, man, who's playing safety next? That's where his head was at. And I appreciate that, too, because that's why we do this. That's why I'm at this channel. It helps me with my own mental illness, right? I mean, I am manic depressive, so I get you there. But to the point about the defense, right? Do you want to get upset about it? Yeah, I mean, you can. I really don't have the energy to get upset at him anymore. I saw Buki get his grits cooked twice on the same scene play, and I got folks in my mentions on Twitter who were talking about he's a bust and he's trash and why is he 5-star. Same folks were yelling at Kenneth Murray Jr. last year. Whatever, get it out if you want to, but I mean, remember that you're really dunking on an 18-year-old kid if that's how you want to roll. Second, I know a lot of folks thought Trey Norwood played well. I wasn't one of them, but there were folks that do, right? Folks agree that Trey Brown played well. Yeah, Robert Barnes, for the most part, played well. Delarian Turner-Yell, he had a pick. He dropped the pick. He felt bad about it. Y'all dunking on him. I want to stop that. Robert Lansing says, congratulations, Steven. Hey, mama's still up. What's a mama got to do to get called out on the initial? Why is a new DC still using Mike Stoops' 3-man defensive line? It's not a new DC, Mom. It's not. Rutherford McNeil is carrying water for Lincoln Riley. Okay? You have to fire Mike Stoops. You got to do it at some point. And the Texas game, when you lose the team, you got to let that guy go. That guy can't help you anymore, right? You can keep him on as long as the kids believe in him, and then they were at a point where they just didn't. With Rutherford McNeil, you at least had somebody that everybody likes. Now, if he's calling defense the way that it looks on Mike's play sheet, let me tell you that it's very difficult to change your entire scheme in the middle of a season. And as a woman who made me learn by rote, you should know that better than anybody else, Ma. Come on. We read the same speech 87 times. If you gave me a new speech and then told me to learn it on the spot, I would suck. Same thing goes for this defense. You run with what you got. And at this point, yo, man, it is what it is. And it's a chicken and the egg argument where the chicken is coaching and the players are the egg. And nobody can tell you what's what. We can look at the defense and we can see schematically, play to play, what's not working. But also, you can see Trey Norwood standing in somebody's back pocket on a play. You can see Robert Barnes running downhill. You can see forced fumbles and strip sacks. So, yeah. Would you like to see 4 men on the defensive line? We all would. But if they don't have the personnel to run it, that's another problem. And it's not one that's going to get fixed today. It's one that's going to get fixed in 2019 with recruiting as it is today and going into 2019. But for folks to think that you're going to fix this during the regular season with the group that you have, you played yourself. All right? That's just it. So, I mean, what more do you want? Do you want to run 6 at them? Sure. They did that. They got burnt by Will Greer for 539 yards passing. You know? RC Gusto, have a drink on me. I needed one after that game. Boomer, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you too, RC. I cheekily named the recap video, right? Oklahoma gave up a mere 700 yards offense in a win. Come on. Because folks don't really want to have a conversation about Oklahoma being 11-1. They want to have a conversation about how the defense is historically bad. Fine. Let's have it. Get it out. Yell about it. Yell about the corners. Yell about the safeties. Yell about the linebackers. Yell about the defensive line. Don't yell about Kyler Murray putting together perhaps the best college football playoff or player season of anybody ever of all time. Or Kennedy Brooks averaging 11 yards per carry. He's probably going to get to 1,000 yards if he hasn't already on just over 100 attempts. Hollywood Brown had 243 yards receiving and 11 catches. You know, let's more yelling about that, man. Jesse Browning, love the dedication to this channel. What hope do you have for our defense next year? I got plenty of hope, especially it's untenable for Ruffin McNeil to be the defensive coordinator next year. I think we all know that, just as it was untenable for Mike Stoops to do it. However, right, you got to think about who stays on this staff and who doesn't. There's a lot of folks that are like, blow it all up. Nobody gets to stay. Everybody gets fired. Whatever. I mean, pretend those dudes, are doing the best they can too. But also pretend they have relationships with incoming recruits. So if you fire everybody, perhaps you lose some of these highly coveted recruits along with them. And that's not really math that anybody wants to do out loud. They just want to yell fire everybody. There are layers to all of this, okay? Second is, I got hope in that Lincoln Riley saw the defense we saw, but those coaches on his staff, he hired them or he inherited them. Either way, he's their boss. You're going at your folks in your workplace. Guess what you're going to have? A bunch of angry people in your workplace. And that ain't how you win championships. And right now, the focus was finishing out the regular season with a chance to win a Big 12 title. And here's the thing that's really wonky. Oklahoma has now finished the entire regular season without a loss at home and without a loss on the road, and still probably won't make the college football playoff, even if they beat Texas next week, or a week after, I think it is, in the Big 12 title game, because there's a log jam for folks getting into the college football playoff when you talk about resumes and strength of schedule and those things. See, John, wow, $50 super chat. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate you, fam. J Bones, what is the first thing you would do to change this defense in the offseason? Install a 4-2-5 as a base and the only thing we run. That's what I would do. We wouldn't run any more hybrid. We're going to be more multiple in everything we're doing. Look, Don Brown famously said at Michigan, what the spread teams would want you to do is run quarters with 2 high safeties, and we're not going to do that. To which I'm like, you're going to get torched. Look, 4-2-5 with 5 defensive backs, 3 safeties. You can build, right? But what you have to have is a dominant defensive tackle and a lockdown corner. Everything else you can literally build out, honestly. So we're going to skinny down the scheme to a 4-2-5, and we are going to go all out trying to get top cornerback and defensive tackle recruits. More emphasis on the defensive line than anything else, but I think, it'd be inane and also disingenuous for me to say that they don't really go looking for top defensive line recruits, because everybody does. It's just they're really hard to find. I mean, that's the plain and simple truth of it. Let's see. But I really want to go through these numbers while we're here, just so everybody's on the same page about what a poop show this was for the defense. Okay? Let's just bear with me. 704 yards total offense. 539 yards passing. 165 yards rushing, which feels okay. 12 of 18 on third down. 66% third down rate. Good grief. 2 of 3 on fourth down. Because, when Dana punted, we were all like, why? Tell the punter to take the night off and have a drink. West Virginia ran 90 total plays. Had 7.8 yards per play. Right? 7.8 yards per play. That's ridiculous. And then, let's not forget, 56 points. Wow, bonus. 131 yards receiving for David Sills. 225 yards receiving for Gary Jennings. Okay. Silly season. Silly numbers. Shane Brasher. RJ, did you notice a difference when they put the DBs on the line of scrimmage? No. The difference was that they blitzed, and then Will Greer's a good quarterback. He's the third best quarterback in college football. You proved me wrong. And he picked it apart. He saw the blitz, and he threw to the zone, the opening of the coverage. Like, he did what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. What Iowa State did against him was drop 8 and say, we're going to cover people and we're going to tackle them. And what we know at Oklahoma is, yeah, dropping 8 seems fine. But since, they tackle about as well as toilet paper stays untorn, yeah, probably is going to be hard to drop 8 and expect those dudes to make plays. So, did I see a difference? No. Would I like to see a difference in the future? Absolutely. But I also think you're going to have to change the kind of technique that you play. And you're going to have to take into account that some of these dudes playing in the secondary, particularly at corner, are built to play in cover 2 and not in cover 3. Some of these dudes are not bump and run guys. Some of these guys have to play 7 yards off the ball because if they don't see the entire field, they're not any good. Some of them can be a keep to leave and just stay in your pocket. And you have to know that. What I see the difference totally between the offense and the defense is with the offense, the details are so terribly important. It's when you come out of your cuts. It's what your adjustment is. It's how many steps to end this route. I don't see any of that detail on the defense. And I think, yeah, you got to start from square one with that. So, long answer there. Bradley Carriger, what you got? When they rushed 5 in the fourth, good things happened. What a surprise. How many OU fans had a heart attack or stroke tonight? For real, though. Thank God we got Kyler and you don't. Yeah, at one point, folks was like, I put out the numbers because it's nearly 1,400 yards of offense again. Like, this is another 1,300-yard offense game, the last one against Oklahoma State. And it's over 350 for each of the quarterbacks. You got a 200-yard receiver. I was saying all these numbers in the Big 12, you get buckets and defense is optional and or non-existent depending on what you're doing. But I don't have heart attacks anymore because Kyler Murray's the quarterback. Honestly. It's like Baker last year, okay? I didn't even feel bad going into overtime against Georgia. That was so surreal that they lost the game because I'm used to Baker winning that game, right? Games that go into the 50s, into the 40s, that is where Oklahoma lives and breathes. That is our stock and trade. So yeah, I didn't really feel that bad and my blood pressure wasn't going through the roof because I know that if the game gets into 49-50 territory, Oklahoma's probably going to get a W. Now, did it feel close this time? Of course it did. They scored 56. But did I feel terrible or like I was going to blow a gasket or like I was going to drink myself silly? No. I'm watching the game and enjoying watching number 1 do his thing. That's where I was. Let me see. Doc Winston Boogie. I see you, fam. Kyler Murray is still undefeated on Friday nights. Amen. Let me see. What else we got in here? Terry! Look, we won. I'm celebrating. We know what our weaknesses are, our strengths too. We won. Give thanks. Very well said, very clearly said. I mean, I think we have to know what the weaknesses are, and we have to be cognizant of what they are, and we have to be able to know that that dude on that dude might not be a good matchup, or seeing those dudes do more of that is good. I understand wanting to dig through that part of what is going on the defensive side of the ball. But I also like being able to say, check this out. Kennedy Brooks carried the ball 21 times. Kennedy Brooks had 182 yards rushing. That's like 300 yards rushing Kennedy Brooks has had in the last 2 weeks. Matter of fact, he might be closing in on 350. I mean, I got to look at his season numbers, but I think he might be the guy getting to 1,000 yards this season when we thought it was going to be Sermon all along. Kyler Murray, 364 yards passing, 114 yards on the ground. By the way, his passer efficiency rating was 216.6, which is about where he was all season. And Will Greer's passer efficiency rating, 184.6, which is about where he was all season. I like being able to watch very cool games. We got great players. We have good offensive coaches, if nothing else. And the defensive coaches, look, it'd be unfair to say that Oklahoma won this game without a defense, though that's in the headline and it's cheeky, right? Because 700 yards and 56 points makes it feel that way. But if you don't have the defense, think about this. You don't win this game. Think about that for just a second. The 12 points scored by the defense won Oklahoma this football game. Won it by 3. Take away either one of those touchdowns, lose this game. So let that sink in for just a second. And perhaps maybe not go after the entire defense and set it on fire this time. I mean, yeah, we know it's bad. We know it's historically bad. We know that the defensive coaching staff is probably going to go through some large changes. But I also want to give credit where credit is due. And if Caleb Kelly doesn't come up big time, what some people are going to call the play of the game, honestly, game doesn't get won. So it's unfair to say that the defense is non-existent. It is fair to say that it's optional, because I watched those seam routes eat Oklahoma alive like you did. Gary Jennings and David Sills just run and go routes between the hash marks and the numbers, and watching the safeties on number 2 not swivel fast enough and get outran. It is horrible. It hurt. J-Bone says, what would change to defeat Texas in the Big 12 championship game? I'm scared. I'm not. Texas should be scared because Texas prides itself on its defense, right? Texas likes to hold people down. Held Kansas down today, right? Held Kansas State down. Didn't really do a good job of holding West Virginia down, and we're better than West Virginia. And had Oklahoma not had those crucial turnovers, and gone in the half down, I could see Oklahoma winning that 48-45 game. It's not hard. What I think they should be terrified of is now Lincoln Riley has you on tape. What you're doing right now, today, he has you on tape against his team. Yeah, I got Oklahoma by a touchdown. Easy. Nah, I'm not scared. I'm more scared of West Virginia than I am of that game, honestly. Because Dana Holgerson and Jake Spavital, that's just a good look. Dominic says we are still something about Alabama. Yo, Daniel, I see you with the super chat on the Buki note, but dog, kick rocks with it. His 5-star forever. That's on his name. They don't demote you stars. And just because you have a different rating system, fine. When somebody starts paying you for your rating system, then we can take it seriously. So don't use your super chat to cop a negative comment about a kid that plays on your defense. If he's doing bad or he's a bad person, maybe we can have a conversation about that. But if you want to dunk on the kid because he had a really bad night playing defense with $2, keep it. Nah, man, come on now. It's your team. I'm going after Mike all of last year because the dude doesn't care. It would well, we got to be more multiple or it ain't really my fault. It's this kid's got to make plays. And the kids are hearing this and the kids are going, what are we doing? And then you lose the kids. But yeah, come on, man. We could, I'm going to turn on like the charitable giving so you can give that $2 to somebody else, because I don't want you to take a billboard to do that. I don't. Let me see. Hey, Quasar made it through. Cheers to a great game. Absolutely was a great game. And I think neutrals in particular, those folks were having a great time watching this game. I think if you are not an Oklahoma or West Virginia fan, right, you're very, very cool watching this game. You're like, oh, Big 12, they score points. It's like Rams Chiefs. It's better. It really was, honestly. It's a better game. But let me see. What else we got in here? Freeway. Is CD underrated? My favorite player, but my family hates him. Underrated by who? He ain't underrated by me. He ain't underrated by most folks who've been following the team all year. Does he play on a team with Hollywood Brown? Yeah, he does. But he's had games that he's played better than Hollywood. And the fact is, he's the second option. Hollywood's the number one. Next year, assuming Hollywood goes, and I don't know why he wouldn't, he's getting first round grades, CD is going to be the number one, and I expect him to go in the first round the following year. He's that good. Like, from a sheer intangible standpoint and a physicality standpoint, there's more upside to CD than there is Hollywood. Think about that for a second, right? Because he's fast and he's big. He's more of a Mike Thomas type of character, whereas Hollywood Brown is more of a Brandon Cook type of dude. And in this new NFL, where it's turned into let's put the short dudes on the outside and just have them outrun these quarterbacks, that's where Hollywood Brown's going to live and breed. But CD, he's going to be much more of a Mike Thomas or Juju Smith-Schuster. Almost got that out the first time. Right? So, I mean, he's not underrated by me, dog. I would, like, when you look at his comps in the NFL, you look at a lot of dudes that played for a long time. To say nothing of going up to get balls. I mean, you remember this dude named Randy Moss? About the same size. Trey Robbins, keep up the great content. I appreciate that, fam. Good looking out. It's interesting. I was texting with a father of a recruit during the game because the defense, like the rest of us, just kind of was making him nauseous. It's like, I can't. It's not even how bad they were. It's that you can't put your finger on exactly what it is that is breaking them into pieces, right? Because it seems like it's little things everywhere. It's not one thing where you can be like, oh yeah, just fix that and the defense operates well. Free Ray says, I love the CD sassiness. Yeah. And I was that, yeah. Whereas with the offense, we're really having conversations out loud about, is there pressure to score every play or every series, every possession? I think some of that just has to seep in because they watch the defense too, right? They're not blind. On the other hand, I don't think you can all of a sudden say the offense is stalling out. Like I made a joke about third quarters being the worst for Oklahoma since the Rose Bowl, but like I don't think you can really throw that on the offense and say they have to score every play or every possession. I keep saying every play because that's how it feels. But they legitimately ran like 62 plays and they scored 59 points. They're just that good. Unoriginal name. Okay. Flashes of pure talent make the defensive struggles tougher to watch. Talented bunch that's not being developed well enough. I think most people would agree with that assessment, honestly, because you look at a guy like Buki and you expect him to be doing more even as a freshman. He's still a freshman, so I give him a pass on almost everything because he's out there. Same thing with Delarian Turner-Yell, who nobody wants to keep yelling is a 3-star recruit, right? Nobody wants to throw that out there. They just want to keep throwing out that Buki's a 5-star and he doesn't deserve it. Robert Barnes is a 5-star. Play like one. I mean, come on. They're kids. Robert Barnes is a sophomore. Trey Brown turned out to be pretty good. When Justin Burroughs gets back, that's going to help you on the back end too. He brings some attitude. He'll move back to corner, I would expect. Trey Norwood, this is his second year. He's growing up. I mean, there's lots of talent there. And I don't know about developing it because I see some good technique. What I don't see is dudes knowing what they're doing, right? Like Buki was looking at the sideline when he got beat by David Sills on that opening drive. Most of the dudes were. Neville Gallimore, he had a couple great plays, where he just caved in a line, got to the quarterback, or got there to make a tackle. Amani Bledsoe, man, he was hurt. Ronnie Perkins looked good. Nobody wanted to say anything about that. Kenneth Mann looked fine. Nobody wants to say anything about that. Let me go check the tackles right quick, because last time I looked, I want to say it was Robert Barnes at the top. No, Caleb Kelly. Caleb Kelly had 14 tackles. Nobody's yelling about him being a 5-star dude. 14 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss, pass breakup, forced fumble. Is your defensive player of the game. Kenneth Murray Jr. had another ho-hum 10-tackle day. He's averaging like 11 a game. Curtis Bolton had another ho-hum 10-tackle day. Robert Barnes had 8 tackles, pass breakup. Come on now. So I hear you about it's frustrating that the kids are so talented and it feels like they're being underdeveloped. I don't know about underdeveloped. I know about alignment, which I didn't know was such a big deal until I started watching Mike Stoops when he came back in 2012, because I just assumed everybody got their alignments right. Barnes does not play like a 5. Okay, dude. All right, man. Keep your $2. You can just write that one. You don't need a billboard for that one. It's obvious the defense is too complicated. I would make that argument, and I made that argument last year, because I thought that what Ruffin was doing with Kansas State and TCU was simplifying the defense, which is why the kids were playing faster, because nobody was checking the sideline. Everybody was just reading their keys and playing the game, which I think is a big part of it. But Gary Patterson says something in a coaching clinic that, I heard, which was the defense should always be more complicated for the coach than the players. So he essentially has 3 calls that he has to make for TCU's defense, where his kids only have to know 1. Right? Scott Beach, love the channel, and Texas sucks. Solid billboard. Yeah, that's the thing. He has 3 calls. He has a call for the front 6. He has a call for each side of his secondary. Right? And he got to get them all out. And he got to get them all out on time. But once his kids get the calls, they know what they're running. There's no check. And I've always thought that was really cool. And that's putting a lot of onus on the coach, as he should be, because one of y'all is getting paid $5 million annually to make a play call. The other of you is playing for the shirt on your back and an opportunity for a lottery ticket into the NFL. For me, it always comes back to money, because money is such a big and important part of everything, especially college football. And I always think that the coaches should lose. Coaches lose, players win. That's how I was taught to do it. That's how I think it should always be. And that's probably why I've always been and always will be a proponent of players and a player's coach, right? But I also understand that coaches don't want to take the blame for the plays that they think should be made. Don't take the money then. Let me see. Highly questionable. That's not going to make it through on the... I got moderator stuff in place, so you can't say stuff like that. That's why it was redacted. That's why it's retracted. That's why it's deleted. Let me see. What else we got in here? Can we not give the defense a little credit? I've been giving defense credit. Made huge plays. Oh, you're not talking to him. You're talking to the rest of them. Okay, cool. Is it Texas hate week again? It seems to be. And what I like most about this rivalry now with Tom Herman and Sam Ehlinger is that, and Brecken Hager and LJ Humphrey, and basically Texas, is that Texas hates OU legitimately. Legitimately. And if you noticed on the channel, every time I have a Texas-related video, Texas fans show up out of woodwork to call foul. Yeah, I think it's OU Texas hate week on both sides. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of poking at each other. They're going to be saying 48-45. We're going to be saying 3 losses. We're going to be saying 3-time Big 12 defending champ. Do you want the belt? You got to take it from the man. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Jim Deaton, glad I found your channel. Boomer. All right. So highly questionable. I'm going to go ahead and put you on blast and say I'm putting you in timeout. That's actually what YouTube calls it. Calls it timeout. So go stand in the corner. Think about what you've done. So what else we got? Can we love our O-linemen some more? They are a pure joy to watch. We have been spoiled on the offense all around. So Ramon, you heard about Holly Rowe and how I think her favorite Sooner is now Creed Humphrey. But you also heard, now just giving respect to Bill Bedenbaugh and his offensive line. Blackledge is like, this is the best offensive line in the country. I haven't seen a better offensive line. And he's right. Because as much as this offense is made up of cool play calls and Hollywood and Kyler, it's also just an offensive line that goes to work every day and gets you 6 yards per pop. Cody Ford never played tackle before. has showed up and might be going into the NFL next year because he's played right tackle so well. Bobby Evans also is going to have to make a decision at left tackle. Drew Samia, Ben Powers, you don't get those guys. So, yes. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job. Of course, I'm probably the only person that watches these videos every day because I edit them. But I think I've been doing a pretty good job of saying that the offensive line has been great and that Bill Bedenbaugh has been awesome and that he's the guy for which everybody should be watching to leave Oklahoma. It ain't Lincoln Riley. It's his offensive line coach because he's real good. And you might remember that the offensive line was kind of garbage when he got here. That's how he got here. Bruce Kittle and Bobby Jack Wright weren't doing it yet. 2 coaches for 1 offensive line, and they couldn't get it done. Bill Bedenbaugh gets in here, changes the way they eat, changes the way they lift, changes the way they block, and now you're putting out All-American. It's like that. Gabe Eichert, Orlando Brown. I mean, we can keep going. So yes, absolutely, we can give some love to the offensive line. I think Lee Morris just wasn't ready to go. Grant Calcaterra did a good job, but I'm glad that because it was like when Hollywood couldn't go. I think the same thing. Probably suffered something in practice they didn't want to put out, and quite honestly, Lincoln doesn't always say who's injured and why. That information usually has to come through sources that I have or Brandon Jum has, and if we know about it, we put a note on OUinsider.com. So I'd encourage you to go check because I'm doing the live stream. Brandon Jum's probably reporting on it right now. Can we stop running the 4-2-5? No, we can't. Get out of here. Kyler needs 147 yards rushing, to get to 1,000. Yeah, so he could be the second player ever to be, I think, past 4,000, rush 4,000. But I'm not going to ask him to get to 147, against Texas. I'm going to ask him to go win the game. Because I don't know if y'all saw that video I dropped earlier, but there is a really good case for Kyler Murray skipping a bowl game that does not involve the college football playoff. I'll leave it there. Lane, what you got? I'm excited for round 2, but Texas can't stop the paper bag in the 4th quarter. But, hopefully the Monstars take Kyler's skills so we can get the W. Ain't going to happen. You can hope. You can pray. Ain't going to happen. We got a lot of folks in here hating on Kyler Murray winning the... Okay, what is the argument against Kyler Murray not winning the Heisman? I'll hear it. I'll hear it. Tua Tagovailoa plays on the best team in college football, perhaps the best team in the last 10 years, and he has been a transcendent quarterback. The best that Alabama has seen in the last 20 years. Best the SEC's probably seen in the last 20 years. All right, cool. His numbers are amazing. His numbers are better than Baker Mayfield's. His numbers are not better than Kyler Murray's. I got nothing. A loss? You don't want to give Kyler Murray the Heisman because he lost a game 48-45 where he scored 21 points in 6 minutes? That it? Or do you want to penalize him because he played in the 4th quarter and Tua did not? What's the argument? There's not a good argument for saying that Kyler Murray should not win the Heisman Trophy. There's only homers. There's only folks that want to say the SEC is a tougher conference and therefore Bama plays a tougher schedule. Yo, man, Citadel put up 17 and 10 in the first half. Neither LSU nor Mississippi State did that. So how tough is Alabama really? Come on. Jeff, I got a whole video that I did about officiating, dog. I would encourage you to go check it out. But we all know the Big 12 referees suck. What's we got in here? First team to win the Big 12 4 times in a row. Yeah, well, no power conference has had a team win its conference title 4 times in a row. So Oklahoma would be making real history there when, if, how it pulls this off. Also, Oklahoma already made history this year as it is the first team ever to allow 40 points in a game 4 consecutive times and win all 4 games. Lord have mercy. Come on, man. Tech, score on you. Oklahoma State, score on you. Kansas, score on you. West Virginia. Yeah, okay. We'll spot you 40. That's what, can you believe that? Oklahoma can actually walk into a game and say, we'll spot you 40 and we still gonna win. That's cool. I mean, it ain't the way you want defense to be played or football to be played. But it's really cool when you're the team that's winning saying, here, take the ball, we'll spot you 40. It's like you're like an NBA All-Star at like one of those big galas. You know, when Kobe went overseas to China and he would let dudes play him one-on-one and it would be a game to 11, he spot him 10. And he would let him have like 12 possessions and he'd block everything. That's how it feels to be Oklahoma. Oklahoma's Kobe. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. It's so much fun. Let's see, what else we got in here? Oh, what's Sydney say? I miss Sydney coming through. Sydney. Bama fans doing some creative math to try to make Tua look better than Kyler. Yeah, I mean, even the Georgia dudes are dunking on Tua. Talking about, yo, man, you getting outplayed by a pro baseball player. It's true. It's true. Ryan Meyer, played against Creed in high school. Dude equals beast. I believe it. Let me see. Terry Beckham, love you, RJ. I'm going to go listen to West Virginia radio call until I fall asleep. Yes, please enjoy the tears. Bye, Terry. Let me see. Andrew, can we make playoffs if we embarrass Texas? No. You need Ohio State to beat Michigan tomorrow, and then I'm not sure that you get in. Because if Ohio State beats Michigan and Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship, their resume looks a whole lot better than Oklahoma's. Just does. They'd have wins against a top 4 Michigan and wins against a number 12 Penn State, and that would kind of wash out the skull-dragging of Purdue. I just don't see it. However, if the rankings stay the rankings, you know, and they stick to their guns like they've been sticking to LSU at 7, yeah, there's a skinny chance, but there's no skinny chance if Ohio State doesn't beat Michigan tomorrow. And then you need a miracle with Northwestern beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game to assure that. But even then, it could be a problem because Georgia could beat Alabama and vault both of Oklahoma and Ohio State because they'd have a win against number 1 team in the country. So I'm going to put it like 11% chance that Oklahoma plays in the college football playoff just because numbers. So like a New Year's Six Bowl is probably what we're looking at when a Big 12 championship game because, you know, like you end up in the Sugar Bowl against like an LSU or a Georgia again, or you end up in the Fiesta Bowl against Central Florida. And yeah, I would like to pound on UCF. That'd be fun. I don't want to do it at the expense of a college football playoff spot, but I would enjoy the opportunity to drag UCF through the mud and end this charade of them being, you know, doing what Bama did for years, which is taking unclaimed national championships. You could do it, and I'll call you a national champion, but don't lose. So playing Oklahoma, you gonna lose. You gonna catch this L. And I would love to shut Danny White up because he flat out called out Oklahoma on the Twitters like 3 weeks ago with this screen cap of Baylor and Oklahoma because Baylor played OU close. Yeah, I would enjoy that. So if we can't play in the college football playoff, strap us up against Central Florida. Let's go to work. For real. Especially, I think Washington beat Washington State, so they're out of it. What else you got here? USC is going to beat Notre Dame. It's funny. It's funny. Kyler Murray won't win the Heisman for the simple reason that voters will not approve of his fairy-like scamper slide moves. Cody, how is the haterade? It's good. It's good. Hater. Hey, you, Cody. Let's see. Jake Franklin, still not losing faith in USC pulling a miracle against. I told you, it's funny, dog. It's funny. It's funny. Kenny Brooks took another step this year. Yeah, he did. I mean, but saying he took another step is like saying that he climbed several flights. Because what steps was he taking last year? Wasn't. There was no room. You know, and I hear the joke about why was Kennedy Brooks ever 4th on the depth chart coming in? Because the other running backs were that good. Like, it's the true story. Rodney Anderson is better than Trey Sermon, is better than Marcellus Sutton, was better than Kennedy Brooks. Kennedy Brooks came on late. Kenny Brooks is still very good. No else is still very good. TJ Pledger. You ain't seen much of him either. It's that loaded in the running back room. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. It's not a slight against Kennedy Brooks. It's simply that you can hand the ball to anybody in that running back room, and that is a blessing. You know, it is a hashtag blessing. Don't style on the folks for putting Kennedy Brooks fourth on the depth chart. Look at the room and say, my God, we loaded. Because we are. Same thing in the wide receiver room. Folks is like where Michael Jones is. Behind Charleston Rambo. You know? I mean, I know everybody has their favorites that they want to see. I want to see Levi Draper. But the depth chart is the depth chart for a reason. Some dudes are in the doghouse. Yes, that's true. Don't know who exactly it is. Probably won't for a while. But just being that deep, come on, count the blessings. You know, we're talking about where Lee Morris is, assuming he's hurt. Maybe it's just that Grant Calcaterra could do everything they needed. No else you haven't seen? Nick Basquine. He's good. No else is good? Miles Tees. No else is good? Drake Stoops. You see what I'm saying here? That's what it means to be at Oklahoma. It means to be loaded at every position and everybody can't play. That's a very hard fact of life. That's why dudes transfer away. That's why it's hard to keep dudes at Oklahoma. Addison Gumbs was going to start. Blew out his knee, said, I'm leaving. Think about that. Where would Addison Gumbs be this coming season? Knowing what we know about Mark Jackson, knowing what we know about what Ronnie Perkins is going to do. You know, Ronnie Perkins is blessed in that he can play anywhere on the line. That dude's going to be a monster. Bradley, I saw that. We were talking about it earlier. Let's see. Okay. My man just gonna show up to talk noise. All right. Well, I mean, that's what you want to do. Let's see. What else we got in here? Hollywood had a career night. Those are PlayStation stats. I think he had a bigger night against Oklahoma State. I think he had 265 against Oklahoma State last year. I'm pretty sure that was the fact. So, like, dude likes to show out on the road. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had like 265 or 263 or something stupid like that. In a game that was not dissimilar to the one that was played tonight. Doc Winston Boogie, 20 straight true road wins. My goodness. Got to go back to what? 2016 Houston for the last loss? Yeah. That might have been neutral site. Might have to go back to Trevor Knight at TCU. Katy Perry night. Yeah. It's one of those two. Yeah, that's a good stat, Doc. It's a very good stat. Thoughts on QB room post Kyler Murray? It's Austin Kendall's job to lose. I mean, he gets outplayed by Tanner Mordecai in the spring game. Could be something. I mean, Spencer Rattler doesn't get here until the summer, and it's just, I love Spencer. Everybody knows that, but it's really hard for me to see him winning that job 2 months in. Matter of fact, I'm not sure that's something I would like to see, unless but Lincoln's good at that stuff, man. That's the kind of thing that I don't really worry about who the quarterback's going to be, because Lincoln Riley is the dude coaching the quarterback. You know? Could be Tanner. No, it's not. Tanner Schaefer's going to graduate. But I would feel confident in Tanner Schaefer being your starter. You know? I mean, people forget Baker Mayfield didn't look good when he first got the job. There was some, like that Tennessee game, there was a hot second where it felt like he was going to go back to Trevor Knight. And people were like, don't you dare. William, everybody's seen that report. Blinken Riley said the last road loss was 2014. Okay, so it was Katy Perry. Katy Perry. I covered that game. I remember because it went viral with the Vine was still a thing, and it went viral, and people were freaking out. And when Trevor Knight responded pregame to it, like, I got a girlfriend and I love Jesus, I was like, oh no. No. She got you, dog. She's in your head. We need you on TCU, and took that L. I remember that day. Because, like, even Coach, yeah, Jerry Montgomery's still on staff, and Jerry Montgomery's tweeting about it like, oh, my. Yeah. That was not cool. That was not a good look. What would we say? Defense makes us alcoholics. Where you been since 2012? Let me see. Glad I had beer and some 20-year-old rum. I'm not a rum guy. Matter of fact, I'm not a liquor guy. I'm just a beer guy. You know, when I get around to it, y'all be going harder than me. Let's see what we got in here. Who's on the short list to be our defense coordinator? So I made this video about a guy named Pete Golding. You might want to go check it out. I mean, Alex Grinch is also on the list, and there's a few other names that we're running down, but Pete Golding's the name that I keep hearing the most. What else we got in here? Big time players make big time plays in big games. Kyler is earning that trophy and statue in Heisman Park. Yeah, man. So that would give Oklahoma 7 Heisman Trophy winners and 7 national titles. Would surely like to make it still lopsided to the national titles. Maybe we could get that done sooner rather than later. I don't know. See what the committee thinks. WVU just always gonna be next year's Cy. I mean, you can say the same thing for Tech. You can say the same thing for Oklahoma State. You can say the same thing for TCU. I mean, but also, West Virginia really hasn't won since they got to this league. That's a move that's worked out well for West Virginia, not so much for the Big 12. Like when people talk about, add UCF. No. Works out well for them, not for us. You know, And I still stick to my guns on bring back Arkansas, bring back Nebraska. I'm fine with the Big 12 being at 12 teams. But they don't want to share any money, so that's why that's not going to happen. I'd love to hire Matt Campbell to be defensive coordinator. He's an offensive dude. Why? Not only is he a head coach at Iowa State and probably ends up somewhere else, but he's an offensive guy. He calls offensive plays. I would like you to do some more research on who it is you would like to be your defensive coordinator. Does anybody else out there think that Riley takes his foot off the pedal with the lead and with the lead in the second half? No, because the rest of y'all keep yelling about how we score too fast. No, can't have it both ways. You can't have the dude take his foot off the pedal and saying that you score too fast. Make up your mind. You know? See, will we ever have a cornerback over 5'10" that is dominant? Yeah, Andre Woolfolk. Antonio Perkins. Do I need to keep going? It's happened. It'll happen again. There are 2 6-foot corners in the 2020 class that are committed. They're both real good. Darian Green-Warren set modern day. It's real good. You know, I mean, come on, man. Think about it. Let me see. Doc Winston Boogie. Shout out to the 500 plus watching now. You all get a game ball. True story. It is 12:19 locally, Central Time. Y'all goats. Because I feel like most of the time all I end up doing in these chats is yelling at people. I don't really like it. I like giving takes and I like feeding off the questions, but just part of it. Kingsbury to West Virginia as the OC. So if you haven't heard, seems that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be out of a job at the end of the season and that the folks in charge of Texas Tech University going to try to go get them Brent Venables at Clemson. I don't think it's going to happen. But if Brent were to take the job, could be a problem because that would be the playbook that was used at Oklahoma. Go get the best defensive mind in college football that you can afford and get. And let him just go get an offensive guru to go coach the offense and build a defense. But what does Cliff Kingsbury do? I think Cliff Kingsbury will move on to the NFL. I think the job that folks want Lincoln Riley to take is there for Cliff Kingsbury if he wants it right now. I don't see why that man would continue to coach college football unless he absolutely enjoyed it. And he might. You know, it might be that simple because he's going to be somebody's OC. Here's one that's really going to cook your noodle. What if Cliff Kingsbury became Les Miles' offensive coordinator at Kansas? Imagine Les Miles recruiting with Cliff Kingsbury. You now have a problem in Lawrence. Matter of fact, that might be a video. That's free. Did Buki get benched tonight? No. Also, it's officially my birthday. Happy birthday, Tom. Hey, RJ, what do you think is the key to stopping Sam Ehlinger? Hit him. hit him and put him in third down long situations. But put him in third down long situations before you hit him. And normally that would be a cool thing, but against Oklahoma, third and long might as well be, 1st and 10, because that's what it turns into. So my gameplay would be put him in third down situations, make him complete passes, take away the Tebow option. But I don't know that that's something that Oklahoma can actually pull off. So to ask me is also to hear me cringe. What NFL team would pick Kingsbury up? All the ones that won Lincoln Riley. He ain't going to end up at Cleveland because Baker hates him, but, it ain't like there aren't 31 other NFL teams that might be looking for an offensive coordinator. Plus, he might just coach quarterback somewhere or wideouts or whatever. He's got options. Let's see. What else we got in here? Steven says, 1st and goal, RJ. Ooh. That's on top of the 3rd and long comment I was making. Thank you, Jamal. I appreciate it. This is one of the things that I like doing. I like to think that I've gotten better at the take business. And appreciate that. Imagine Brent Venables at USC with all the talent in California competing against Utah and Colorado. I don't think he's in line for that job. Plus, I don't think Brent Venables' constitution fits with Southern California. That dude has Kansas State in his bones. Rufus Alexander's telling me stories about him literally loading up on Red Bulls and coffee before practices. He can't survive out there like that. He'd hurt somebody. He'd need 3 coach get back because he'd be going after everybody. Nah, that dude needs to coach in Texas or the Midwest or stay there over at Clemson. Bradley Carricker. When was the last time our D scored twice in a game, RJ? I got you, Steven. Did Steven ask that question? I missed it. I appreciate that, Bradley. Last time they scored twice in a game. Probably Georgia. Yeah, probably Georgia. Because you got the scoop and score. And I forget the rest. No, it was one time. Because they scored 38 points and then Stephen Parker had the one score. I got to think about it. But that's what I came up with off the top of my head. Yeah, because the rest are special team scores. Would a very good defensive coordinator do any better with these players? Yes. That's like asking if Kirby Smart could turn Oklahoma's defense around. Of course he could. Jeremy Pruitt, same difference. Tosh Lapointe, same difference. Brent Venables, yes. Come on. Think about it. Think about your question. I don't know what WVU has. Dana can't win big games. That was a handpicked for. Okay, he beat Texas in a big game in Austin. So check yourself. All right, don't tell me that. Mike Stoops should lobby for. Nah, man. Tattoo Baker, what's good, fam? How much were you sweating it if CD caught that ball to seal the game? I wasn't cool until they showed the other view. Not very much, because I think there would have been much more jumping up and down by the West Virginia fans if he didn't catch it. So I knew that it was a catch because the West Virginia DB knew that he got beat. So not really, but I appreciate the donation, dog. Robert Barnes just gave up on that long play. I mean, y'all saying gave up on him like he was actually going to run him down. I mean, there's hustle and then there's stupidity. Joseph Cummins. What's up, RJ? Sending the love and respect, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Another nail biter. Appreciate that, fam. RJ, would you start Turner Yell again at safety or go Jordan Parker or Broyles for Texas? I think Broyles was in concussion protocol, and Jordan Parker might still have an injury that he was working through because you might notice he didn't suit up for Kansas. Okay? So it's not about who you can start. It's who you have to start. That's what it means to be this deep into the season. I don't know that Delarian Turner Yell is the starter because everybody's not healthy. Same thing with Khalil Houghton. I know a lot of y'all don't like him, but that would have been another warm body to throw back there. And that's what you're seeing. You're depleted almost everywhere. So let's keep it 100. It's not like you're working for the full deck here. Nobody is. Let's see. I know it's been addressed time and again, and you can point fingers at coaches until you're blue in the face. And why did it happen as much to wrapping up? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Aaron Guthrie, appreciate the $5 super chat. Daniel, say something nice. Didn't Will Johnson have a pick six? Did he have a pick six? I can't remember off the top of my head, because if he did, that would have been the game. Actually, his pick six. No, TCU. Weren't there 2 defensive touchdowns in the TCU game? Big 12? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It's live. Let me do the read right quick. With Christmas just around the corner, why don't you eliminate the dreaded "I don't know what they like" question for that special someone? Sign up for the OU Sooners T-shirt of the month club and start receiving a new and unique design delivered right to your front door with free shipping and both standard and premium packages. You are sure to be a hit with the gift that keeps on giving from thefanstop.com. Use promo code RJ Young, all caps, one word, no periods, to receive 10% off your order. That's like 10% monthly, so you end up with like a free shirt. I have a subscription to thefanstop.com. You can check the Bedlam live stream, post-game live stream, to see what the shirt looks like. It feels real good against my skin, and we all know that we ain't wearing any shirts that don't feel real good against our skin. And since folks kind of show up here to see what shirt that I'm wearing, I thought this was a really cool sponsorship, and they sponsored the live show. It's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to take one more question, then we're going to get out of here. And it's a super chat. Connor Smith, what is fundamentally wrong with a 3-man front in the Big 12? Nothing is fundamentally wrong with a 3-man front in the Big 12, because you'll notice that Texas runs it as a base. And so does Iowa State as a base, right? And so does West Virginia as a base. But the problem with it at Oklahoma is you can't get pressure and you can't depend on your guys to wrap up in space. What makes it work is that your linebackers and your safeties are experts at putting people on the ground. So you'll watch Texas and you'll see their linebackers make plays. Their safeties are some of the best in the country. Caden Stearns, Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, all those dudes can play. You know, you saw the safeties today. One of them had a pick. And you got David Long running around the middle of their defense, who is on that Bednarik watch list. You know, or Butkus Award, not Bednarik. Butkus Award watch list. Because he's real good. So it's about what you can do from a really just wrap up and put people on the ground standpoint. And Kenneth Murray Jr. and Curtis Bolton are pretty good at that. Caleb Kelly, not so much. I don't know what happened to Ryan Jones exactly, but I thought he was doing a pretty good job at it. And also you're talking about, can you really get pressure with a 3-man line? Only if your nose tackle's really good or your end is really good. One of those guys got to be bone crushers, right? And while we got some good dudes, we don't have any bone crushers. We thought Neville Gallimore was going to be that guy, and he isn't flashes. He's not consistently. So fundamentally, what's wrong with it? Nothing. But if you can't execute it, you need the extra man on the line of scrimmage. Because 4 versus 5 still can win. 3 versus 5 is very hard to win. And if you can't wrap up and tackle, what's going to happen to you is what happened today. You're going to get 700 dropped on you in 56. All right. Do the roll call. Get out of here. Hey, Washington, what's good? Sauce and Dawson, we'll see you. Derek Walker, William Zabala, Jacob, what's good? Norris Mosen, Silent Assassin, Stewart, Aaron Guthrie, HC892, Xavier, what's good? Cap, I see you. Scott Coleman, see you. Sean Robertson. Who else is in here? Dieter! Appreciate you, Dieter. Ryan Riddick, I see you. Brandon Mashburn, Keegan Daniels, Lamar Garrett, Stephen Gordon, M. Quasar, Mountain Quasar, Boomer, what's good? Billy Palmer, I see you. Jesse Browning, excuse me. Sydney, Derek, what's good? John Waters, Rob Material, Greg Wesley, Jacob, Tenacity, Lane, Mike McCoy, Doc, beat Texas. I appreciate that, Doc. Xavier, Sheldon, Ladd, Jay Word, Bradley Carricker, Shane Brasher, Dave Blockinger, SBC, Monica Ray, Jamal, Greg, Chris, Connor, Douglas, Jake, Tom, happy birthday, Austin, Don King, Common Sense, Bree won this. Okay, all right, Bree did. I'm going to say goodnight to my mama. Cade, deuces. Dwayne's out. Adam, see you. Who else we got in here? Chris, I'll see you. Bright Red Elephant, Jaron Jones. Phil, Brandon, Lou. All right. that is it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. I will see you tomorrow. Deuces.